Hey, I want to talk about sexual orientation or romantic orientation or like all that stuff. Not as a general thing, as in my sexual orientation, my romantic orientation. And I feel like coming out isn't always as big of a deal anymore as it used to be. So that's not really why I'm making this video. I mean, I've come out plenty of times. I came out back when coming out for me was still difficult at this point. For me, coming out, it's like, whatever. But, I'm making this video not really to come out, although some of my friends who see this might be the first time I've ever really talked about this. So in a way, yeah, I'm coming out, but I'm really making this video for myself and to say that it took me this long to really accept my sexual/romantic orientation. And I keep saying /romantic orientation because I don't feel like sexual orientation fully covers all that. Like, I can be in a relationship with someone without having per se a sexual attraction to them, and it gets very complicated. But it took me this long to accept my sexual romantic orientation, because my sexual orientation along with my romantic orientation, they don't match, and it's a lot more common, I think, for those to match, although they don't always match. And that's why I feel like just my sexual orientation wouldn't fully cover everything about me and being in relationships. And when you talk about your sexual orientation, people start to make assumptions. I feel like, when it comes to sexual orientation, I could say I'm asexual. You could say I'm asexual. I don't know if I fit perfectly into that description, but I would say partially yes. And see, this is why it's so complicated, and this is why I don't really like having it defined as anything, because sexuality is a spectrum, and I feel like I don't fit perfectly into any of those boxes. I would say that I'm pan-romantic, which means that I can love, be in a relationship, have romantic feelings for any gender, but I wouldn't say I'm pansexual. I don't know if I could say I'm fully asexual, and it just gets really complicated, and that's why it took me so long to kind of accept it for myself, because I would be lying if I said that I never wanted to fit perfectly into one of those boxes, because it's a lot easier to explain and people understand it a lot more and all that. But I've come to a point where I'm finally comfortable not fitting into any of those boxes. And I guess if you wanted to, I know some people go with the term queer. If you wanted to define my sexual orientation as queer, I'd be okay with that. Personally, I don't really define it that way, but I do accept that title. I would just kind of call it undefined, which I just made up. That's just kind of how I see it. I think it explains it best for me. I think that I would say my sexual orientation's undefined, but I'm panromantic. And I think that's the best way I would describe it. And I'm finally okay with that. So if you guys want to know, I just did this age calculator. It took me 19 years, 2 months, and 14 days to finally accept that for myself. But that's why I'm making this video, self-acceptance of that. I finally reached that point, literally today. Like, I've tried to make this video before. I've tried to figure out what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it, and I was like, it would be a lie to say I'm comfortable with that at this point in time, but now it's not. It's finally, it's okay with me, finally. So, yes, that was the point of this video. Yeah, I would say I'm panromantic, and the rest is unwritten, in the words of Natasha Bedingfield. I'll end on that note. Talk to you soon, guys. Love you. Peace.